This is an example of Mystery Monday as heard on the Radio Theater channel, www.oldtimeradiolisten.com.
This is the Radio Theater channel.
Adventure, The Eyes of Shiva, 1945.
The Avenger, sworn enemy of evil, is actually Jim Brandon, a famous biochemist. Through his numerous scientific experiments, Brandon has perfected two inventions to aid him in his crusade against crime as the Avenger. The telepathic indicator by which he is able to pick up thought flashes, and the secret diffusion capsule, which cloaks him in the black light of invisibility. Brandon's assistant, the beautiful Fern Collier, is the only one who shares his secrets and knows that he is the man the underworld fears as the Avenger. And now, The Avenger and the Eyes of Shiva.
Come in. Good evening, Mr. Thurmont.
Hello, Croft.
Have a chair, Thurmont. What's on your mind?
As though you didn't know.
Well, I can guess, of course. When a young man about town calls on to gamble in his office...
It means he's broke, Croft. I want you to okay another IOU for me.
Thurmont, you're in too deep. I can't give you any more credit.
Listen, Croft, don't try any of those cold shoulder tactics on me. I've lost a fortune in this club.
That's just the point. You already owe me $35,000, Thurmont. When are you going to pay up?
You'll get your money. But I've got to have a little time.
That's what you've been saying for a month. Now, let's get down to cases, Thurmont. Either you pay up or I use my own methods of collecting.
I see. You're all set to give me the works, aren't you, Croft?
If necessary.
Give me one more week and I can raise the money.
Sorry. I need more than your word for that, Thurmont. May I ask where you expect to get that kind of money?
From my Aunt Lydia.
Mrs. Wimbershan?
Yes.
What makes you think she'll advance you $35,000 just for the asking?
She'll have to.
And if she doesn't?
Then, well, I have another way of getting it.
No, Thurmont. I can't accept vague promises any longer. I'll give you 24 hours to raise the dough.
I can't do it in that time. You'll have to make it a week, Croft, if you want to collect your money.
What's your plan, then? I've got to know my chances.
Well, you've heard of my aunt's rubies, the famous Eyes of Shiva.
Who hasn't?
I've got a customer for those rubies, Croft.
You mean you plan to steal the rubies from your aunt?
Well, if you want to put it as crudely as that, yes. They'll be mine someday anyway, so I might as well get them now when they can do me the most good.
And if you're caught?
I don't think Aunt Lydia would prosecute. The family name and all that.
This brave customer you spoke of, who is he? It seems unbelievable to me that anyone would be foolish enough to buy such famous stones. Those rubies can never be put on the market. They'll be too hot.
My customer will give me $200,000 for them, and he has no desire to market them.
200,000? Who has that kind of dough?
A rich Indian importer. He's tried to buy the rubies from my aunt directly, but she won't sell. You see, those stones have a special significance to the people of his country. At one time, those rubies were the eyes of an ancient statue of the goddess Shiva. This rich Indian owns that statue now, and he wants to have the eyes replaced.
Well, I don't know. That statue stuff's all Greek to me. I never even heard about this Shiva goddess.
You should have, Croft. Shiva is the goddess of thugs. She has 7 arms and strangles all who do not please her. I'd say she speaks your language, Croft.
Sounds like a very interesting dame.
Well, Croft, in case my aunt refuses to give me the money, Are you willing to give me that week's grace to get the rubies?
All right, Thurmont. I'll play ball.
Good.
Take a few days to work on your aunt for the money, though, before you risk stealing the rubies. 35 grand in the hand is worth more than 200,000 in some goddess's eyes.
It's a deal, Croft.
We have a date then, Thurmont. A week from tonight. Let's, have a drink on it.
Oh, Jim, it looks as though everyone in the Blue Book has turned out for this opening.
Well, it certainly does, Fern. A nightclub opening, too. I guess the place is made.
If they squeeze us in any tighter here, we won't dare eat any dinner.
Oh, now we must avoid that catastrophe at any cost.
Oh, Jim, help me pick out the celebrities.
Well, let's see. There's the mayor over there.
Oh.
And at the table next to him are Mrs. Lydia Wimbersham and her nephew, Hollis Thurmont.
Oh, I've heard of her. She's the richest woman in the state, isn't she?
Yes, but young Hollis is doing everything he can to relieve her of that honor. Oh, Fern, she's wearing her rubies, the earrings.
Jim, are those the famous eyes of Sheba rubies?
That's right, Fern.
Oh, good heavens, I never thought I'd see such jewels in a nightclub.
Mrs. Wimbersham doesn't appear in public very often, but when she does, she makes folks sit up and take notice.
Gosh, this is exciting. Jim, let's dance. I want to get a closer look at those rubies.
All right, Fern, let's go.
Well, Aunt Lydia, did you have a good time?
I did, Hollis. You were a dear to invite me. It's quite a nice club.
I suppose you noticed that your rubies got more attention than the floor show.
Well, this is the first time I've worn them in a year.
I was surprised. Why did you wear them tonight, Aunt Lydia?
It's your uncle's birthday, Hollis. When he was living, I always wore the rubies on his birthday. And since his death, I've continued to do so. You knew that.
Of course. I'd forgotten.
Hollis, what's the matter? You seem preoccupied all evening.
Oh, it's the same old thing, Auntie.
You're not having money troubles again, Hollis.
I'm afraid I am, Aunt Lydia.
How much are you overdrawn this time?
It's worse than that. I might as well tell you the truth, Auntie. I'm in debt for $35,000.
Hollis, how did that happen? Why, I've always given you a generous allowance. Hollis, have you been gambling again? After you promised me.
I know. I'm wrong, and I admit it. But that doesn't satisfy my creditors.
Hollis, I won't give you the money this time.
What am I to do, then?
I don't know. You gave me your word when I paid your debts last time that it wouldn't happen again. And now this. You'll have to settle your debts as best you can on your allowance.
That sounds final, Aunt Lydia.
It is, Hollis. Believe me, my boy, it's for your own good. It's high time you settled down and lived on your income.
All right. Let's forget it, Auntie. Don't lecture me tonight.
Do you want James to drive you home, Hollis?
No. I was hoping you'd invite me in for a nightcap.
Oh, of course. Come along. That's all for tonight, James. Good night. We'll have to serve ourselves, though. I gave the servants the night off.
That's all right, Auntie. Give me your key. I'll open the door.
Here. Those servants have left all the lights burning again. Go into the library, Hollis. I'll join you in a minute.
Where are you going, Auntie?
I want to put these earrings in the safe in the living room. Go ahead. Mix yourself something to drink, Hollis.
Right. Don't be long.
I'll send these rubies back to the vault tomorrow. I feel uneasy having them here in the safe. Oh, it's a relief to get them off. They're so heavy. Let me see. The combination is 3, 1, 0, 7. There. Into your little box, back in the safe. Oh, Hollis, you startled me.
I'm sorry. I came in to ask if you think we might find the makings of a sandwich. That nightclub dinner was on the meager side.
Oh, of course. I'll see what's in the icebox. You know, Hollis, I don't think I'll ever wear the eyes of Shiva in public again.
Why not?
Well, I had the strangest feeling tonight. Oh, it's silly, I know, but suddenly I thought of the rubies as real eyes. Huge, glaring red eyes, staring back at all those people.
Come now, Auntie. None of your morbid fancies tonight.
All right, Hollis. I'm sorry. Bring the drinks into the kitchen and help me with the sandwiches.
Right. I'll be with you in a moment.
I hear footsteps in this room. Who's there? Who are you? What do you want?
I want the combination to your safe, Mrs. Wimbersham.
No. No. Get out of here.
Now, if you'll just be calm and do as I say, you won't get hurt. No use to reach for the phone. The wires are cut.
This is an outrage.
Come downstairs and open up that safe, or... Well, I'm prepared to kill you if I have to. It's up to you.
All right. I'll come.
After you, Mrs. Wimbersham.
You're after the rubies, of course. But what good will they do you? No one will dare buy them.
I'll worry about that.
This way.
Okay. Now suppose you open up the safe. 3, 1, 0, 7. Very simple. Should have been able to figure that out for myself. All right, take out the rubies.
What sort of game is this? They're not here. You've already taken them.
No stalling now. Fish them out.
They're not here, I tell you. Look for yourself.
Stand back. They're not here. And you knew they weren't. Talk fast, Mrs. Wimbersham. Where are those rubies?
I don't know. I put them in the safe less than 2 hours ago, and now they're gone.
You're lying. Where are they?
Honestly, I don't know.
I'm going to get those rubies, Mrs. Wimbersham, if I have to choke the truth out of you.
Believe me, I'd tell you if I knew.
Well, we'll see about that. Talk!
Take your hands away. You're choking.
Where are they?
I don't know. Please,
Answer quick, or I'll finish the job.
I don't know what happened to them. I don't know.
Where are they?
My rubies. The eyes of Shiva.
And now, back to the Avenger and the Eyes of Shiva.
Honestly, Jim, I feel terribly sorry for Inspector White. I'm afraid he'll be out of office if he doesn't break the Wimbersham murder soon.
Well, Fern, it's been almost a week now since it happened, and the newspapers are playing it up big. Frankly, it's a very puzzling one.
Jim, haven't you been able to pick up anything on the telepathic indicator that might help?
No, I haven't. If I'd been at the indicator the night the murder was committed, I probably could have. But by the time we found out about it, the strong emotional impulses that surround a death by violence had weakened, and I could pick up only confused impressions.
Jim, do you think Mrs. Wimbersham's nephew could have done it?
Well, evidently the police don't think so, Fern. They released Thurmont yesterday. Oh, that must be Inspector White now. Let him in, will you, Fern?
Yes, Jim. Hello, Inspector. Come in. Jim's waiting for you.
Thanks, Fern.
In the laboratory, Inspector.
Good morning, Inspector.
Well, nothing good about it, Brandon.
Have a chair, and let's hear what's on your mind, Inspector.
Well, look here, Jim. I'm going to put my cards on the table. I'm up a blind alley on this Wimbersham case.
I see by the papers that you've released Thurmont.
Well, we had to. We had an airtight alibi, for the murder at least.
That leaves you high and dry for a suspect, doesn't it, Inspector?
Never hire and never dry, Fern.
Well, Inspector, I don't know whether you want my advice or not. Usually you don't.
Stop rubbing it in, Jim. You got any ideas, spill them. I'm open to anything.
Okay, Inspector. If you're really asking me, I'd say that Hollis Thurmont had such a good motive for both the murder and the theft that he might be the connecting link between them, provided both crimes were not committed by the same person.
Well, we've got a tail on him every minute of the day and night. And if he gets in touch with anybody, we'll know it.
And where is he now?
At the country club, playing golf.
Playing golf? His aunt's death couldn't have affected him much.
I've got an idea, Inspector. Call off your men and let Fern and me trail Thurmont for the rest of the day.
Okay. But call in a report to my office every hour, Jim. And don't give out any statements to the newspaper.
Why, Inspector, you used to love
Now,
publicity.
listen here, Jim. Just because you got me up a tree, you can't...
All right, Inspector. No feature stories until you solve the case. Come on, Fern. You and I are going to brush up on our golf.
Oh, Jim, I've hit another ball out of bounds.
My dear Miss Collier, the idea is to keep your eye on the ball, remember?
Yes, that's just the trouble. I'm trying to keep one eye on the ball and the other on Hollis Thurmont playing there ahead of us.
Oh.
Jim, I'm convinced that young Thurmont can't be guilty.
And why not, Fern?
He's playing too good a game. His conscience must be clear.
Now, he's good, all right. We've been following him for 16 holes, and he's made at least 10 of them in par.
We're in good company. That man playing behind us is good, too.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Look, Jim.
Yeah.
Thurmont is teeing off for the 17th hole. Let's watch for a minute.
All right, if you think it'll improve your game. I can't believe it. He sliced that one badly.
We hit it way out of bounds in the rough.
He's setting up another one. Oh, he sliced that one, too. And it landed in exactly the same place as the other.
That 17th hole must be a jink. Look, Jim, Thurmont is mad. He's going to stop playing.
Would you folks mind if I played through you?
Oh, no, not at all. Go ahead.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Not at all. Well, that fellow's just as good as Thurmont.
Now he's ready for the 17th hole. Wonder how he'll make out.
Oh, Thurmont's going toward the clubhouse, Fern. We better go. We don't want to give him a chance to slip away from here without us.
All right, Jim. Jim, did you see that?
Yes. That fellow who played through us sliced his ball just like Thurmont did.
And it landed in the same place, too. But he's going after his.
Now, that's a very strange coincidence. I wonder...
Jim, we'd better hurry if we want to catch up with Thurmont.
Yeah, right, Fern. Come on. Did Thurmont come out of the clubhouse yet, Fern?
Yes, a few moments ago, Jim. He went around to get his car.
I just called the inspector. He says we're to stay with Thurmont.
Oh, we'd better get in the car then and be ready to follow.
Right.
I think we're on a cold trail, though. Thurmont hasn't even spoken to anyone out here.
Help, get the police.
What's happened?
Mr. Thurmont, he's been strangled in his car.
Call Inspector White at police headquarters, attendant.
Yes, sir.
Tell him to get out here right away.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Jim, I can't believe it. Why, only a few moments
Fern,
ago
I want you to get a caddy and go down to the rough and get those golf
The
balls.
golf balls? Why, what in the world can they have to do with
Never
it?
mind that now. Get those golf balls and bring them back here.
All right, Jim.
And in the meantime, I'll see if I can pick up the trail of Thurmont's murderer.
Well, Brandon, now that we're back at headquarters and can't be overheard, what have you got to say for yourself?
Not a thing, Inspector. Evidently, Thurmont's murderer was waiting for him in his car. Thurmont was strangled in exactly the same way as his aunt.
It happened very suddenly, Inspector. Why, we just gave Thurmont a few minutes to drive around the clubhouse in his car so that we could follow him.
Don't worry about that, Fern. If the murderer hadn't caught up with him there, it would have happened somewhere else. But the newspapers are screaming for my scalp nonetheless.
We'll get the murderer, Inspector. All we have to do is find that man who followed Fern and me on the golf course. He's our man.
What makes you so sure of that, Jim?
Because Fern found only one golf ball when she went down to the rough. Thurmont hit two down. And our suspect hit one down there. Now, if our suspect really went down there to recover his own ball, he would either have picked up his own and left Thurmont's two, or picked up all three. Since he left one ball there, he must have picked up Thurmont's two. It was too far out of bounds for ordinary stray balls.
Where does that get us?
Yes, Jim. I don't see what difference it makes whose golf balls he picked up.
If those two golf balls Thurmont sliced into the rough had the rubies in them, it would make plenty of difference, wouldn't it?
Jim, do you think that
I
those...
certainly do, Inspector. Thurmont deliberately knocked those balls into the rough for somebody to pick up. And we know who recovered those balls.
We do? Who?
Jim means we know what the man looks like.
Inspector, I want to see every picture you've got of known criminals in this state. Come on, Fern, we're going to work.
Okay.
Well, this batch of pictures just came in this morning. Mostly parole jumpers believed headed this way.
Well, now that sounds like a good bet. No local criminal would have taken such risks of being recognized. Here, Fern, you look through that batch.
Oh, this is the craziest case I've ever worked on. None of it makes any sense.
Well, it's beginning to, Inspector.
Well, not to me.
Be patient for another day or two, Inspector, and you'll have the newspapers eating out of your hand.
Jim, here he is.
What?
This is the man who played through us on the golf
Why,
course.
sure enough. Clyde Devers, jewel thief, served sentences in...
Looks like you've hit on something, Jim.
Inspector, have your men track down this golf ball.
What for, Jim?
I believe Devers was fronting this job for someone. Let's shoot for the jackpot, Inspector. This is Clutcher Croft's place, Vern. According to the inspector's list, Croft buys the type of golf ball Devers used.
Oh, but what makes you think Croft is our likeliest prospect, Jim?
Young Thurmont owed him money.
Well, it's worth the try.
Now, that's Croft's office straight through the entrance hall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what to say. And don't be frightened, because when Croft opens the door to let you in, the Avenger will be right behind you.
I'm not afraid, Jim.
Good girl. Go ahead, then.
Come in.
Mr. Croft?
Yes? What do you want? Come in and close the door.
Mr. Croft, I'm from the firm Byers and Tremblay. We're in charge of settling the Wimbersham estate, and I'm getting a list of Hollis Thurmont's creditors. What was the amount Mr. Thurmont owed you?
Since when are gambling debts paid off by an estate? You wouldn't happen to be a detective, would you?
Why, no, I'm...
Devers! Devers, come in here!
What's up, Croft?
This dame. From the police, I think. Lock the doors, Devers. Now, speak up, miss. Just who are you?
I just came here on a hunch. I thought I might find the eyes of Sheba rubies here.
Why, this is the dame that was on the golf course. The day I...
The day you murdered Thurmont, isn't that right, Devers?
Who's that? Where did that voice come from?
From the Avenger, Croft.
The Avenger? We're sunk, Clutcher.
Not yet, Devers. Grab the girl. No. We can't see the Avenger, but we can see her. Cover her with your gun.
Reach, you...
You're playing the fool, Devers. Croft is double-crossing you. He's edging toward the inner office to make his getaway.
No, you don't, Croft. You're not hanging this rap on me.
Take it easy, Devers.
Stay where you are, or I'll drill you.
It's every man for himself now, Devers.
Come back here, Croft.
Oh! You shot. Oh!
You've had that coming for a long time, Clutcher. My gun.
Pick it up, young lady. I knocked it out of your hand, Devers.
I have it, Avenger.
Stand back against the wall, Devers. Shoot him if he makes a move.
It was Croft, I tell you. He hired me. He engineered the whole thing. He's the man
He's
you...
dead, Devers. Save your story for the police.
Come on in, Jim. Devers is ready to talk now.
At last, I was beginning to think he'd never break.
All right, Devers. Why did you kill Lydia Wimbersham?
Because I thought she was lying when she said she didn't know where the rubies were.
Didn't it occur to you that Thurmont might have taken them?
No, I didn't know anything about the Thurmont angle until after I failed to get the rubies. Then Croft told me Thurmont must have beaten us to it.
But by that time, Thurmont was in jail for questioning concerning the murder of his aunt.
Yeah. We just had to sit tight and wait until he was free to make contact with his customer.
When did you first suspect that the rubies were in the golf balls?
Not until Thurmont sliced them into the rough. I'm an expert on golf. I could see that he deliberately sliced those balls.
Then, after you recovered the balls, you went back to the clubhouse and killed Thurmont?
Croft told me to. He was afraid Thurmont would begin squawking to the police when he discovered Croft had framed him.
What was your next move, Devers?
Well, we tried to contact Thurmont's customer, the rich Indian importer, but discovered he'd sailed quietly for home as soon as he heard about Mrs. Wimbersham's murder. He was scared of getting involved, I guess.
So the rubies weren't worth a penny to you and Croft because the one and only customer for them was on the high seas.
Yeah. And by that time, we were wishing we'd never heard of the Eyes of Shiva.
Any more questions, Jim?
No, that just about cleans up the case, Inspector.
Okay. That's all, Devers. The charge is murder. 3 of them. Take them away, boys.
Jim, I still don't understand. If that Indian importer had sailed for home, why did Thurmont go ahead with the plan for delivering the jewels to him?
Thurmont didn't know the Indian had fled, Fern, and he was desperate for money.
Oh, good grief. No wonder the inspector said this was the craziest case he ever worked on.
Well, you can say that again, Fern. This one almost had the Avenger baffled, too.
The Radio Theater Channel. OldTimeRadioListen.com.
The Clock, Two-Face, 1947.
From the point of view of time, the world is filled with objects that are aging. The giant redwood trees in California, for example, were full grown when Marco Polo found his way to China. There are pyramids in Mexico that were already relics when King Tut was a schoolboy. And the deep canyons and breathtaking crevices which hold the tourists spellbound in Yellowstone Park count their birthdays in the millions. These venerable landmarks may have been preceded by Father Time himself. But there is still nothing in this world that is quite so old as yesterday's newspaper.
Eddie? This is McLean.
Oh?
McLean, your city editor.
Oh, yeah, morning.
Morning, it's almost noon. Must have been kicking the gong around last night.
Oh, a little party, nothing terrific. Hey, wait a minute. This is Thursday, McLean.
So what?
Thursday's my day off.
From now on, it's Friday. I have an assignment for you.
Oh, no. Can't you get Herman? I'm dead tired.
Herman's away. Besides, this is just your dish. Now, I've arranged for an exclusive interview with Francine Moulton.
Well, the dame who just got an acquittal on a murder charge?
That's the one. We're paying her $1,000 for an exclusive story. Now, you ought to go over to her home on Sutton Place at 1 o'clock.
Oh, but the case is finished. She's been tried, freed. I don't get it.
She's still good for a little circulation. I'll send Joe with you to get some pictures. It's great for our Sunday supplement.
Yeah. I got the appointment at 1?
Yeah. Joe knows the address. He'll pick you up at 12. And Eddie.
Yeah.
Use your noodle. Try to make her talk. You never can tell. You may run up against a brand new twist.
Hey, I hope this Moulton gal will pose. Some of these dames get very touchy when you flash a camera.
For $1,000, she'll pose. Turn left over here.
Yeah. Hey, did you cover the trial?
No, it was on holidays.
Hey, it was quite a shindig. When she got up at the stand and told her story, half the jury pulled out handkerchiefs. They were only out 4 hours.
Her husband fell out of a window, didn't he?
Yeah, from his office. 12 floors above the ground. She was with him when it happened. She claimed she was asking for a divorce, and he tried to scare her by telling her he'd jump. He got too frisky and he lost his footing.
What kind of a woman is she, Joe?
Oh, well, wait till you see.
Yeah, good looking?
A dreamboat. Great big blue eyes, ice blonde hair, a face like an angel. No wonder the jury fell for her.
You talk like she vamped her way out of it.
I'm not saying. The evidence wasn't strong enough, so she was acquitted. But I can think, can't I?
You still want to be a big detective, huh? Joey Lester, private eye. Okay, Dick Tracy. Well, where's the house? Pull up at the curb. And listen, Dick, I'm the reporter, and you're the fellow with the camera, you see. I'll do the talking.
Okay. Hey, some joint.
See? Pretty classy.
Well, her husband left her plenty. She could afford to live in style.
I wonder why she agreed to give us the story in the first place.
Oh, maybe she's one of those publicity hounds. Love to see her name in the papers.
Should be.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Moulton at home?
Who's calling, please?
Mr. Evans, Daily Tab.
Mrs. Moulton isn't seeing any reporters, sir.
Look, tell her we're here, will you? We've got an appointment.
Just stay where you are. For a moment, please.
Hey, nice sassy.
Keep your mind on your camera.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, have a look at this place, will you? Oh, now I know how the other half lives.
Oh. The lady has taste.
Sure, oh, yeah. Only don't let her catch you near any open windows.
Oh, why don't you talk a little louder, you dope? The papers are just dying to defend the slander suit.
Oh, stop riding me, will
Mrs.
you?
Moulton will see you. Please step into the library.
Thanks.
In here, sir. She'll be with you in a moment.
Okay, dog. Thanks, yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Now, if I get a shot from this side of the room, we can get that painting in up there, you know?
Is that the picture of Mrs. Moulton?
Yeah. Oh, she's even better looking. Now, Get her to sit in that couch, will you, Eddie? The background is perfect. Great.
You're all right, Joe. She's beautiful.
Ah, they're all alike.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Mrs. Moulton?
Yes.
I'm Eddie Evans, reporter for the Tab. This is Joey Lester, one of our photographers.
Please make yourself comfortable. Would you like something to drink?
Sure,
Don't
I'd
bother,
like...
Mrs. Moulton. Don't bother. We prefer getting right down to the interview.
Whatever you wish. I suppose you wonder why I consented to give you this interview.
Well, it's easy to see you don't need the money.
I'm giving the money to charity.
Oh. Then why did you give us the green light?
I've gone through a great deal since my husband died. The trial was difficult and it frightened me.
I don't blame you. But you got an acquittal.
Yes, from the jury. But what about the public?
The public?
During the trial, the newspapers were very unfair to me. They pictured me in a sordid way, and they seemed to believe I was playing some kind of a part.
Do you mean they thought that you were guilty?
Yes.
From what I understand, my own paper was one of the worst offenders.
That's why I've given you the exclusive interview. Perhaps it will present my case a little better to the public and help clear my reputation completely.
Look, Mrs. Moulton, how about a picture first before we begin?
A picture?
Yeah, you don't mind, do you? Just sit where you are. That's fine. That's great. That's it. Yeah. Now, cross your legs and let's have a little cheesecake, huh? Lift your dress a little bit, please.
Joe.
Yeah. Huh?
Put the camera away and take off your hat. You're talking to a lady.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Just ignore him, Mrs. Moulton. No one ever taught him any manners.
What?
I promise you we'll only print what you tell us. Of course, if you want your lawyers to look the story over.
That won't be necessary. I think when you hear what I have to say, Mr. Evans, you'll only print the truth.
I tell you, Chief, the guy is nuts.
He wouldn't let you take any pictures?
No. And boy, what a shot we had. The gal, she's got a shape out of this world. Did you read the story Eddie brought back?
Yes, I did. It's got as much appeal as a can of salmon.
Look, he acted like he was drunk all through the session. You think she was the first blonde he'd ever saw in his life?
Yes, Mr. McLean?
Is Eddie Evans out there?
Yes, sir.
Send him in. All right, Peter, Joe. I'll talk to Eddie alone.
Hello, Eddie.
Hello, Pinhead. Are you going back to your blocks?
Oh, cut it out.
Evans, we can't use this interview of yours.
Why not?
Because it's too dull, that's why.
I wrote up what she told me.
Oh, for the love of Mike, she's no saint. You got this thing looking like a lyric of a hymn.
McLean, if you wanted cheesecakes and hysterics, you picked the wrong woman. Mrs. Moulton happens to be a lady.
All right. But didn't she tell you anything about her husband? Maybe he was a no good. Maybe he slugged her. We gotta have something to talk about, don't we?
You've got everything right there in that story. Her husband treated her okay until he started going haywire. She doesn't like to talk about him, and I don't blame her.
Listen, Boy Scout, you sound like you've fallen for
Look,
her.
you pay me to get interviews. If you want to do a little muck-cracking, get someone else.
Don't you talk to me like that. If you think you're going to throw $1,000 down the drain just to cover a cheap blonde...
Next time, maybe you're going to have a little more respect.
There won't be any next time, Evans. You're fired. Now get out!
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Evans.
Is Mrs. Moulton at home?
Yes, please come in.
Thank you.
Who is that, Sally? Mr. Evans. Oh. Hello. It's so nice to see you again.
I just stopped by for a minute. Maybe I'd better talk to you alone.
Excuse me, ma'am. Yes, Sally.
I just wanted to warn you not to give out any more interviews.
What do you mean?
Well, the one you gave me didn't satisfy Mr. Big at the office. He wants more dirt.
I see.
They may send someone around for another try. So don't see him.
Thank you for telling me.
That's all right.
I hope I haven't caused you any inconveniences. I mean, you didn't get into any trouble because of that story, did you?
Well, I only got fired, that's all.
Oh, no.
But it wasn't the story, it was something else. I can pick up another job. Do you mind if I tell you something?
Of course not.
You won't think that I'm too fresh.
No.
I've never met a woman like you before. What I mean is I was nursed in the gutter and brought up in an alley. I've been covering criminals for that
cheap paper so long, I think I've forgotten what a lady looks like. But after meeting you, I remembered again.
You're very sweet, Mr. Evans. I'm terribly sorry about what happened.
Oh, forget it. Well, I'll get along now.
Will I see you again?
You mean you want to?
Why not come here for dinner tomorrow night? Come early and we'll have cocktails together. Can you manage it?
Can I manage it? Oh, boy, you just try and keep me away. Give me a quick one, Pete, will you? I got a dinner date in 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Oh, hello, Eddie.
Well, look who's here. The Flash Pub Kid himself. Been peeking through any good keyholes lately, Joe?
Oh, look, I'm sorry you got fired, Eddie. No kidding.
Don't feel so sorry. Have yourself a drink.
You mean you're not sore?
Joe, I feel far too good to stay sore anymore.
Hey, there was a letter brought to the office today for you. That's why I came over here. You didn't leave any forwarding address.
No, probably a bill.
Oh, it's not a bill, Eddie. Looks like a woman sent to me. Here.
Thanks. No return address.
You know, I never said anything to the old man if I'd have thought... Hey, what's the matter, Eddie? That letter bad news?
I don't know.
Oh, who's it from?
Wasn't signed. Must be some kind of a crank. It doesn't make sense.
What does it say, Eddie?
Just says, even a lady can wash her hands in blood.
As inevitable as it is that the seconds will grow into hours and the hours into years, so is it inevitable that a seed of suspicion will sooner or later ignite in the mind of its bearer, burst into a conflagration to consume his life and leave him nothing but ashes and death.
Another cocktail, Mr. Evans?
No, thanks. I've had enough. Call me Eddie, huh? I don't have enough dignity to add the mister.
You seem disturbed tonight.
I was just thinking of something. Do you have any enemies?
Enemies?
Yeah, a woman who doesn't like you too much?
Not that I know of. Why?
Oh, it isn't important. I would have more sense into paying attention to it. Look, I changed the subject.
Has someone been talking about me, Eddie?
Not to my face. I wouldn't stand for that, Francine. It's okay if I say Francine.
It's okay.
I guess you think I'm kind of rough around the edges. Well, I am. I just feel like a bull in a china shop when I'm talking to you.
Why?
Oh, because we're so different, I guess.
How are we different, Eddie?
You're the kind of a woman who comes wrapped up in a fancy box with pretty ribbons. Me, I feel more at home in a crate.
The qualities in yourself that you apologize for. Maybe the very ones that make you so attractive.
You think I'm attractive?
You are to me. I admire your character, Eddie. You're not soft or crude like so many men I've known. Oh, they cover their crudeness with a certain polish. But the veneer is usually very thin. Eddie, are you falling in love with me?
Is it as obvious as all that?
It is to me.
No, Fran. I'm not falling in love with you. I already fell. I'll be over at 9, Fran, with something important on my mind. I got a surprise for you.
Oh, Eddie, what kind of a surprise?
I know, you'll find out later, but I can tell you this much. The suspense is going to be tougher on me than you. I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey. You better be ready by 8:30. Now, come on in, it's open. Don't be late. You want to be there when the band starts playing. Just remember when you get there, honey.
Hello, Eddie boy.
What do you want, McLean?
Oh, I just came over to chew the fat.
Go chew it somewhere else, will you? I'm busy.
Getting all dolled up for a party.
Yeah, I am, and you're not invited.
How was Mrs. Moulton?
It's none of your business.
Oh, you're a smart boy, Eddie. I gotta hand it to you.
What are you talking about?
Who are you working for now?
Next week, I'll start with the Chronicle. You wouldn't know anything about it. It happens to be a decent paper.
Oh, cut the comedy. I've come over here to make a deal.
What kind of a deal?
You get your job back with a bonus and a raise, if we get the story.
What's the matter with you? You drunk?
Now, don't be coy about it. After all, Eddie, you owe us some loyalty after 11 years. And I'm willing to forget about that sock on the nose. Business is business.
Go out and get yourself some black coffee. You sound like you need it.
You know, the scoop will raise an interesting problem with the courts. You can't try anyone for murder after they've been acquitted once, but we'll let them worry about it. We'll take the circulation.
What are you drooling about, you overfed jerk?
All right, skip the tough guy act. You've been making a play for Francine Moulton to get new evidence now, haven't you?
No evidence, you're crazy.
What about this letter?
What letter?
It was sent to the office and opened by mistake. It's addressed
Opened by mistake, you snooping little...
You want me to tell you what it says? It says her husband didn't fall. He was pushed. And you don't have to be a gypsy to figure out it refers to Mrs. Moulton.
Let me see that.
How much do you know, Eddie? And how much longer will it take you to get all the dope?
This was written by a nut.
No, that's what you told Joe about the first one. All right, Eddie, I'll make a deal with you. I'll pay you $500 for the yarn when it breaks, and I'll pay off whoever you're in cahoots with.
The door's right behind you, McLean. Use it.
Oh, don't talk.
Get out before I wrap this chair around your neck.
Okay, sonny boy, have it your way. But if you happen to change your mind, you can call me. I'll set aside that $500 just for you.
Eddie, darling, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay.
Here, let me take your coat. It's Sally's night off, so I'll have to do the chores for the evening.
Say, you look terrific in that dress.
I thought you'd like it. Oh, it's rather daring for me. I don't usually like my evening gowns cut quite so low, but if it pleases you, Eddie, that's all that matters. Now, what's the surprise you have for me?
Let's talk about that later.
Oh, don't tease me, darling, please. What is it?
I bought this ring today.
Eddie.
I thought that... Maybe you like me well enough to take a chance on getting married.
You love me that much?
Yes, I do.
I'm very touched.
Fran, look at me, will you? Have you always been on the level?
What do you mean?
With me.
You know I have.
Oh, look, I almost feel like a louse when I say this, but I've got to get it off my chest.
Tell me, Eddie. You know you can say whatever you like, and I'll understand.
No, Fran, you tell me.
Tell you what?
How your husband died.
Eddie.
Tell me the whole story, and please don't leave anything.
I don't understand why you want to hear it.
I've got my reasons.
All right. I went up to his office and told him my bags were packed. I said I knew about his other women, and I couldn't stand it any longer.
Go on.
He had been drinking. He often did in the middle of the day. Suddenly he became furious. He grabbed my arm and twisted it behind my back. When I started to scream, he let me go, and he shouted he'd kill himself if I left him.
Then he went to the window and stood on the ledge.
Yes.
He slipped and fell over.
You know how it happened, then?
I read the account in the papers. I went through every rag in town reading about the trial. I checked, I rechecked.
Why, Eddie? Did you think I murdered him?
Fran, look at these notes. If you could find out who wrote them.
I know who wrote them.
You do?
It was Sally, my maid. I know her handwriting. She's been trying to blackmail me.
Honey, is that the truth?
She said she had evidence against me, and I called her bluff, Eddie. When I told you she was off tonight, I wanted to avoid unpleasantness for you. I made her leave my house this afternoon.
Fran, why didn't you call the cops?
I've had enough trouble and too much publicity already. The only thing that matters now is whether you believe in me or not.
Oh, I ought to get my head punched off. It would serve me right if you were through with me.
I'm glad we had this out, darling. And as far as leaving you is concerned, was I mistaken, Eddie? Or did I imagine you were proposing to me?
I'm crazy about you, Fran.
Then why wait, darling?
Do you really mean that we will get married tomorrow?
Oh, yes. But, darling, let's elope. Tonight. Eddie, we'll use my car. We'll drive all tomorrow morning just wherever we find ourselves in the country.
Oh, baby, get your hat. We're on our way. Haven't changed your mind yet, have you?
No, Eddie. This is so romantic, driving along, just the two of us. I'm so happy.
How do you think I feel? I never thought I'd be lucky enough to grab a fancy prize like you.
What happened?
Sounded like a flat... What a rotten break. Yeah, that's a flat all right. Left front wheel.
Forget about it, Eddie. Maybe...
It'll only take 10 minutes to change. Is, this the key to the boot, honey? I want to get the tools.
Yes.
I'll be fast.
Eddie!
Yo.
Nothing. Go ahead. Get the tools. Well, Eddie?
Sally,
Don't touch him. He's dead.
you killed her.
Yes. Too bad, Eddie. I thought that when we got out into the woods somewhere, I could get rid of her without you knowing it.
Yeah, too bad.
Start fixing that tire. I know how to use this gun, and it works very well for me. And Sally?
What about me?
I'm afraid I'll have to kill you, too. Slow down at the end of the stretch and take the left turn.
So you killed your husband, too.
He wanted to leave me and take his money with him. I like money, Eddie. In fact, I can't do without it.
And he was the one who wanted the divorce.
Naturally.
You cheated him, didn't you? The way you cheated
Oh,
me.
let's not be melodramatic about it.
Ha! Lady Moulton, the girl I couldn't touch. Pure as the driven snow, the kind they drive into the
Slow
sewer.
down and take this turn.
Sucker Evans, the poor man's chump, the boy who believes in Santa Claus.
I said slow down, Eddie.
Sure, I'll slow down. Watch.
Stop this car or I'll shoot.
Go on, pot me, and then see how it feels to go into a ditch at 70 miles an hour.
Eddie, you'll kill us both. Slow down.
That's the idea, Lady Moulton. You catch on fast. I gotta go anyway, and now I'll have some company. I'll give you what you asked for, you double-crossing little tramp. I'm sorry I won't have time enough to kiss you goodbye. Give me the city desk, honey. Ed Evans talking. McLean? McLean, I'm in a gas station on Route 1. Yeah, I'm hurt. Yeah, I'm hurt bad, baby. But not so bad that I won't be up. To collect that 500 you promised me for the story.
There's a burial place on the outskirts of the city that has just acquired a distinguished client. If you go past there sometime at twilight, you'll notice a handsome monument inscribed with the name of Lady Moulton. Nobility? Not exactly. It's just Eddie Evans' way of spending $500.
This is the Radio Theater Channel.
Obsession, raised from the dead.
Obsession. Can the dead come to life? Can a man executed in the electric chair of a state's prison be reborn to wreak vengeance against society? In a moment, you'll hear a weird and fantastic story of a terrible obsession, starring Mary Anderson. In the sordid confines of a psychopathic ward, redolent of iodoform and formaldehyde, where a moon-faced clock bites off time in rounded nibbles, a girl lies under the white counterpane of a restraining bed. A girl somewhere in her early 20s. She had been found wandering in the streets, her mind enveloped in that darksome mantle that is called amnesia, remembering not even her name. Then at the hospital, that void of darkness was probed by the searching skill of a psychiatrist. And she wanted to talk. She had to talk with the same urgency that one must breathe. It was an obsession. There, Miss Bennett. Feel a little easier now?
Skip the bedside manner, Doc. I just want you to listen to me for a while. That's all you can do for me anyway. This whole thing keeps buzzing around inside my head. It's driving me crazy. Yeah, I saw that look between you two. You think I'm crazy already. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I'm dead, too. I don't know. It all seemed like simple arithmetic. Just simple arithmetic.
What is it you want to tell us, Miss Bennett?
I don't know why I want to tell you. The whole laugh's on me. But I've got to stop this buzzing inside my head. This buzz. Look, Doc. Do you remember a guy called Olens? Frankie Olens?
The gangster? Oh, yes, I saw him in the headlines. Held up a postal truck, didn't he? Well, let's see now. He got away with $400,000. Well, he almost got away. And the next time I saw his name, the state had him in a gas chamber. That was it, wasn't it?
No, Doc. Not by a long shot. That was just the beginning.
You mean you've been in conversation with him since he went to the great beyond?
Where Frankie finally went, it's too hot for conversation. But he didn't go there when the state and the newspapers thought he did. You see, I was Frankie's girl. Well, anyway, he figured I was. So I know the whole story. I ought to know. I made it happen. Right from that day I went to visit Frankie in the death cell. He was waiting for his mouthpiece, Jim Vincent, and for his brother, Carl. I knew he'd never tell where he had hidden that hot 400,000. 400,000. Unless we got him out. So, when Jim and Carl arrived and told us a reprieve had been turned down by everybody, even the governor, I decided to try a long shot. Something I'd been keeping under wraps for a long time. Frankie was pacing the cell again.
Well, what are you going to do? Just sit here? Can't you think of something? Come on, Carl. Where's that brotherly love? We've seen everybody. I don't know what to do.
There's not a legal trick left.
But there is a chance. Just one. It's a long one, Frankie.
What is it? For Pete's sake, what is it?
There's a friend of mine, a doctor. I was talking to him last night.
A doctor? Are you kidding, Sally? What good can a doc do me?
Why don't you let her talk, Frankie? Maybe she's got something.
All right. Go ahead.
It's like this, Frankie. The doctor told me that with the right injections, a man who's been gassed can be brought back to life.
Brought back? Sally, what are you giving me? What kind of a double cross is this?
Relax, honey, before you have a guard here. I'm telling you a plain fact. Anyone who's been gassed and even pronounced dead can be revived, provided you get him to the right doctor fast enough. You want to hear the details, Frankie?
Okay, Sally. I'm listening. But get this straight. You, Jim, and you, Carl, I don't do no talking about the 400 grand until I'm out of this pen. And you can figure how much talking I'll do if I come out dead.
I was laughing in myself all the time, Doc. Frankie, worrying about Jim and Carl, when it was little me who had all the plans. Well, anyway, we pulled it off. We bought ourselves a couple of prison guards and a laundry driver. On my instructions, Frank asked to be cremated. Then, after the prison officials pronounced him dead, our guards switched bodies.
One body was sent to the crematory with a tag of Frank Ollins. That's the one you read about in the headlines. But the real Frank Ollins was shoved into a laundry sack. In less than 10 minutes, the truck driver was pulling up in the rear of an old house I'd rented about a mile from the pen.
Laundry man!
Come on, Jim. Carl,
Okay.
give me a hand.
Yeah.
That's it. Lay him down on the table.
All right.
Okay, driver.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's your money. Beat it.
Okay, lady.
All right, Scotty. Here he is. Scotty, he was a doctor friend of mine. He had his apparatus all set up. A tank of oxygen, a pulmotor, and a little miracle drug called methylene blue. You can look it up in any medical journal if you're interested. Anyway, Scotty went to work. Look at him. Look at Frankie, boy. She's breathing. Breathing again. It was like a miracle, all right. But I didn't have no time to think about miracles. Not then, I didn't. I had a neat little plan all worked out, and I had to spring it before Frankie got too much like him old self again. Right now, he was kind of dazed. And what was more important to me, pretty grateful to be seeing light coming through the windows and no bars on them.
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. The last thing I remember, I was being strapped to that chair in the gas chamber, and then...
Oh, forget it, Frankie. You're going to be fine now.
Oh, you bet I am. Especially when we pull out of here and I pick up that dough.
That's going to take a little doing. You leave this house and you'll be spotted in a minute.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Hole up in here like a hermit?
We got a better plan than that.
We're going to fix it so you'll never be recognized as Frankie Ollins again.
Yeah? Oh, how do you mean?
Plastic surgery, Frankie. A new face to go with a new life.
Well, that's not bad. Not bad. Well, come on, let's do it and get it over with.
And the only trouble is we're broke.
Shut up, Carl. Sally, what's he giving me?
What do you want? An itemized statement of how much it costs to buy your life? All right, here it is. $5,000 for each of the guards, $2,000 for that other stuff, $2,500.
You'll get it back with interest.
Sure, we trust you, Frankie.
Well, then what are you after?
Look, honey, it isn't what we're after. It's what we gotta have. Enough of that $400,000 to buy the plastic surgeon and then get us all out of here.
But it isn't safe for me to go after it. You said so yourself, Sally.
That's right, I did. But, how about one of us going after it?
No, I can't.
You mean you want to drop the whole thing just after going this far?
Well, why won't the surgeon go on the cuff?
Maybe he don't believe you got $400,000 buried. Why should he? I had nothing to show him.
All right, then. Look, Sally, do you think you could convince him if you had a map to show him?
Now you're making sense, Frankie.
I don't know whether I am or not, but I'm trusting you, Sally. I'll draw a map of where the dough is, then you use it to sell the dock, see? But get this, nobody is to leave this joint until I'm ready to leave with him. Is that a deal, Sally?
Sure, it's a deal, honey. Now just sit down, and I'll get you a pen and some paper.
And then, right at this point, on the left side of the highway, there's an Auto Club road sign. You just pace off 10 yards into the woods from that sign, and that's it. Right next to a big rock.
That's fine, Frankie. Here, I'll take that paper.
Now, how about running up the dock, huh? So we can get this whole thing over with it. Jim!
Get your hands up, Frankie. Come on. Now, over against the wall.
Sally! You're not going to let him do this to us. Sally!
Sorry, Frankie, but this is the way it's got to be.
What? Oh, you dirty little double-crosser, I'll kick you. I swear I'll kick you.
Go on. Get back to the wall. Yeah, that's better.
You always were hot-headed, Frankie.
Jim, don't do it. She'll only double-cross you like she done me. Carl, you tell him.
Carl's not going to tell him a thing, Frankie. It's a simple question of arithmetic. 400 grand divided 4 ways just don't add up to as much as when you divide it among 3. All right, Jim.
Wait! For Pete's sake, wait! That map I drew, it ain't on the level. I was trying to trick you. Let me go and I'll show you where it is.
No good, Frankie. We were expecting that one. So long, honey. That was the real end of Frankie Olin. I don't know why he couldn't understand. It was just a matter of simple arithmetic. Besides, it wasn't any crime. There's no crime involved, is there? Shooting a man who was already dead.
No, there is no crime in killing a man who is already dead. No crime to be reckoned with in the courts of mortal men. But what of the crime reflected in the dark mirror of your mind? The hideous crime of your own obsession. Returning now to The Strange Obsession, starring Mary Anderson. In the white-walled cubicle of the psychopathic ward, the sweep hand of the clock turns silently on its orbit as Sally Bennett's voice knifes through the stillness like a thin blade of a scalpel ripping through membrane. Frank Olins is dead. His debt to society marked, paid in full. And somewhere, $400,000 lies waiting for those who can find it. For those whose murder-warped minds will stop at nothing under the compelling influence of obsession.
So now there were only 3 of us. We piled into Carl's sedan. Jim, Carl, and me. And we started out. Well, Carl was anxious to get there all right. He drove like one of those high school kids, and I cut down Lizzie.
What are you trying to do, Carl? Kill us all? You want to get there, don't you? Exactly, I want to get there. That's why I'd like you to slow down.
Take it easy, both of you.
All right.
Say, why don't we stop at a roadside hotel for the night and go on in the morning? Okay with you, Carl?
Well, I think it's crazy, but if that's the way you want it, okay.
The 3 of us had dinner in an upstairs room. Dinner and wine and conversation. Conversation that set things up for a little plan I'd worked out with Carl.
How's about it, Jim? Another glass for you? I don't think I'd better have any.
Don't be silly, Jim. We got lots to celebrate tonight.
Okay, yeah, certainly have. Okay, Carl, fill her up. Sure, yeah.
You keep Jim company, Carl. I'm going to take a look at that balcony view.
Okay, Sally. Okay. Well, here's to the $400,000, Jim. And to Sally, huh? What a girl. And that's one thing I want you to keep straight, Carl. The money we divide, but not Sally. She's all mine, you understand?
Jim.
Huh?
Why don't you come out here on the balcony with me? It's nice and private out here.
Huh. Hey, you don't have to repeat that invitation. Well, see you later, Carl. Go to it, Jim. I wouldn't have a chance with her even if I wanted it.
Here I am, Jim.
Huh?
Up at the railing.
Oh.
It's pretty out here, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You're pretty, Sally. Come here. You and me are going to have a great time, aren't we?
Why not?
We'll have nearly $300,000 to keep us warm, Sally. Anywhere we want to go, we go there. Anything we want to do, we do it. I've been waiting a long time for a setup like this.
So have I. Oh, Jim, look. Right in our backyard, a deer.
Yeah, that's nice.
Look at him, Jim. He's cute.
I don't see anything.
Here, get where I'm standing.
Huh?
Right by the rail.
I still don't see anything.
He's down under our balcony. You'll have to lean over to see him.
Sure you're not seeing an elephant, Sally? A little pink one, huh? Oh, where? You're seeing things, Sally. Maybe you'd better have another drink. Carl, what are you... No!
We find that the deceased, James Vincent, met his death from an accidental fall while under the influence of alcohol.
Naturally, the other guest understood when Carl and I left immediately after the inquest. We couldn't bear to hang around the scene of a tragedy. Besides, there was a pile of dough waiting to be dug up. Carl and I, we were the only members left of the 400 Grand Club. There were no secrets between us, except one. Just one. Carl didn't know that. I'd gotten Jim's gun. A girl can't be too careful, you know.
This is kind of nice, isn't it?
What's that?
The two of us alone. You did want it that way.
What do you think, Carl?
I think the future looks mighty sweet. It was different with Frankie and Jim along. They were both suckers. Always in hot water with the cops. You and me, nobody's got a thing on us. It's because we keep our heads working. Yeah, and that's why we get...
Carl, there it is. Just ahead of us. The road sign of the map.
Yeah, you're right. Come on, honey. Get your purse open.
Just a minute, Carl. Get that shovel out of the turtle bag.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited I almost forgot.
And you were just saying you always keep your head working. Well, mine's still on tight. Let's see now. 10 paces from the sign into the wood.
Yeah, you measure it off. I'll get the thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This must be it, all right.
Does everything match up?
It sure does. I came right up by this big rock, just like on the drawing.
Yeah,
Okay, Carl. I'll keep a lookout, just in case anybody gets nosy.
Yeah, okay.
Go on. You can start digging.
Yeah, all right.
Dig it plenty wide, Carl. No use missing the spot.
Don't worry, baby. I'll dig it wide as a grave. I never felt more like working. Oh, baby, there she is. Looks like an old tool chest, don't it?
But we know better, don't we, Carl? We know it's a gold mine. Come on, get it out of that hole.
Yeah, okay. There she comes. Oh, there we are, safe and sound. Oh, now, Sally, now we can... Sally, what are you doing with that gun? Sally, we're partners, ain't we? There's plenty here for both of us. Please, Sally, don't, please.
I don't know why none of them understood. It was all just simple arithmetic. I wanted it to be 400,000 divided among one, me. And that's the way it was now. I pushed Carl's body into the grave he'd dug for himself. And then I knelt down beside the chest. And I pried it open with a shovel. That did it. I wondered if the money would be in small bills or big ones. I lifted the lid. There didn't seem to be anything in it. Just torn pieces of newspaper. But there had to be. It just couldn't be empty. Then I found something. An envelope. Sealed. That was it. I tore it open. Do you know what was inside? There was a single dollar bill and a note. A note from Frankie that said, whoever's double-crossed me, keep this buck for your trouble. The rest of the 400 grand, I'll leave to the worms. To the worms. Wasn't funny talk? All that money. To the worms. They say they found me wandering on the highway. I don't know how I got there. I didn't remember anything until just a little while ago. And then I got this awful buzzing inside my head. I thought it'd go away if I told you about everything, but it's worse than before. I guess I just gotta die to get rid of it. Anyway, it'll be better that way. I wouldn't want to live without the money. You see, I counted so much on it. I never thought about the things I was doing to get it until the money wasn't there. You understand about that, don't you, Doc? It was all just simple arithmetic. Simple arithmetic.
Hold it up, Jack. Hold on. What's happened to her, Dr. Arnold?
Just a minute. No. No, it's no use. She's dead.
The Radio Theater Channel. OldTimeRadioListen.com.
Sleep No More. I Am Waiting, Bound and Farm, 1957.
Good evening. This is Ben Grauer introducing tonight's Tale of Terror, told by Nelson Olmsted on the National Broadcasting Company's presentation of Sleep No More. The story of terror can be as simple as a sheeted ghost rattling chains. It can be a complex and hidden world of horror, lurking in such unholy dimensions as only the dead and the moonstruck can glimpse. Or it can be those terrible, fathomless shadows which lie buried deep in the primitive mind of civilized man. And for this evening, well, Nelson Olmsted, tell us about this evening's story.
Thank you, Ben. Our first story tonight was written by the British author Christopher Isherwood.
Oh, he's the one who wrote the novel from which the play and movie I Am a Camera was adapted.
That's right. But this tale is in a quite different mood. It's the strange story of a man who, through some peculiar quirk, is able to get brief glimpses into the future.
What's it called?
I Am Waiting.
We all are.
The incidents which I am about to describe are true, but I can offer you no proof, at least not for the next 5 years. By that time, you will probably have forgotten that you ever heard this story. So please believe it or disbelieve it just as you wish. Today is my birthday. I am what you or anybody else would call a failure. I have no career, no outstanding achievements behind me. I've never been married, and I can truthfully say that I've never been loved, though half a dozen people are perhaps mildly fond of me. I live in a pleasant house in the outskirts of a town not far from Hartford, Connecticut. The house belongs to my younger brother, a successful and energetic lawyer. Mabel, my brother's wife, is very kind to me on the whole, as long as I'm careful to be tidy and not unnecessarily visible. With reference to the story which follows, I need only add that I have never at any time had reason to believe that I possessed psychic powers. But on the evening of Friday, July 6th of last year, I was sitting in the drawing room of our house alone. The others had all driven into town to go to a movie, so I could enjoy the luxury of drawing my armchair into the very middle of the hearth rug, facing and monopolizing the fire. The time was about 20 minutes to 9. I remember this because I kept glancing at the clock on the mantelpiece in order to be ready to turn on the radio and listen to the news bulletin. The clock is a wedding present given to my brother by the members of his firm. It's made of china and is vaguely supposed to be valuable, with a boy and a girl in peasant costume supporting the clock itself. I may have dozed off, as I so often do. At any rate, I'd closed my eyes, and when I reopened them, it was with a violent start, as though somebody had called my name. Perhaps the others had returned unexpectedly early. Some such thought passed through my mind, but I didn't turn my head. I don't know why. All my drowsy attention was focused upon the clock, and what I immediately noticed was that the left hand was missing from the china figure of the peasant boy. It's very difficult for me to describe my precise sensations at that moment. I saw only that the hand had been broken off. I wondered how long it had been broken and was surprised that I had never noticed it before. Mabel would be cross, I thought, and this led me to fear that I might somehow have done the damage myself while I was asleep. I rubbed my eyes and sat up suddenly in my chair, and I blinked several times. Well, how absurd. I must have been dreaming. For now, as I examined the clock, fully awake, I saw that I'd made a mistake. The clock wasn't damaged. After all, the china hand was still intact. Well, one morning, about a week later, when I was walking in the garden, Mabel came out of the house and confided to me that she would have to fire the new maid because she had broken the drawing room clock. Well, I pushed past her toward the French windows which opened into the drawing room. Entering, I saw what in my excitement I had dimly expected to see. The China boy's left hand was broken off at the wrist. The second occurrence took place at 11:25 a.m. on Monday, August 20th. I was in my bedroom standing near a bookcase which occupies the corner behind my bed. It was a gray morning. Although from where I stood I could not see out of the window, I knew by the pattering sound on the glass that it had begun to rain. As I reached out my hand for a book, I experienced an extraordinary sensation which swept over me, leaving my body tingling and trembling and the sweat breaking out of my forehead. I stood there as if frozen with my hand outstretched. What followed cannot have taken more than a minute. Perhaps it occupied only a few seconds. At first, I was aware only of a change of mood, very difficult to describe. I felt lighter, happier, as though some oppression had been lifted from my mind. Lighter. Yes, that was the exact word, for the room was actually full of light, of bright sunshine. As I stood, I began not only to feel and see, but to hear also. Sounds were coming up through the window from the garden below. I heard laughter, voices, and the noise of a tennis ball being hit back and forth across the net. And then one voice called out, "Come on, Joyce! Give them everything! They're beginning to crack!" It was my youngest nephew. Joyce is the name of his sister-in-law, my eldest nephew's wife. No words of mine to describe the strangeness of these familiar words and sounds. I listened to them as a dead man might listen to the voices of the living. They were so near to me, and yet so immeasurably remote. And I heard Joyce say, "Oh, tricky, very tricky." And Bob, my eldest nephew, answered, "What do you think you're playing, ping pong?" That was all. The next moment, the contact, or whatever you'd like to call it, was broken. My fingers had touched the book, and there I was back in the gray, clear continuity of normal consciousness with the rain pattering fast in the pane. Well, I forget exactly what I did next. I think I must have paced the room several times, backward and forward, pausing to look down through the window at the wet tennis court and the empty garden below. I was deeply excited and disturbed. Although it still wasn't entirely clear what had happened to me, I was aware that something had happened, something so dimly tremendous that it dwarfed every other experience of my whole life. I carefully wrote down what I had heard and seen as I've described it here. And when I finished, I felt very tired. I lay down on my bed and slept soundly till lunch. Early in the fall, Jack, my youngest nephew, came to visit us. The fine weather had continued and the tennis court was still in good condition. Whenever anybody spoke of tennis, I felt my pulse throb with suppressed excitement. But where were the other actors in the strange, meaningless little drama I hoped to witness? I repeatedly asked Mabel and my brother if Bob and Joyce were expected. No, they said not yet. They wouldn't be likely to visit us before December. Well, on the afternoon of Saturday, November 3rd, I returned by bus from shopping in town. It was about 2:45. I went to my room, and as I moved to the bookcase, I heard Jack's voice on the lawn below calling the score. 15 all. Come on, Joyce, give them everything. They're beginning to crack. It was there. My moment. And even as with a gasp I recognized that it was past, it flashed by me and was gone. Long before I recovered my wits sufficiently to hurry to the window, the actors had spoken their familiar lines. The drama was over. Looking down into the garden, I saw Jack, Bob, and Joyce, and a strange girl chatting and joking across the net at the end of their game. The girl was a friend of Joyce's. She had been brought over in the car from Providence, Rhode Island, I discovered. When Bob planned this surprise visit, he had come to stay the weekend. Almost exactly 2 weeks later, on the afternoon of Sunday, November 18th, I had gone into the trunk room to hunt for some old photographs. The trunk room is at the top of the house. It has no windows, only a skylight let into the roof. It is crowded with bits of damaged furniture, cardboard boxes, and old trunks. Wondering where to begin my search, I decided upon a scarred Gladstone bag, which I opened. And then as I bent over the papers, the attack seized me. This time, the sensations were different and incomparably more violent. My ears began to sing, my limbs stiffened, and a convulsion like an electric shock seemed to take place at the base of my spine. Half fainting, breathless, dizzy. I had barely time to think, it's going to happen again. And then I closed my eyes. Gradually, my arms and legs relaxed. My head cleared, and I began to inhale deeply and easily. The sense of relief was exquisite. Very cautiously, I opened my eyes and looked about me. At first, I hardly recognized the room in which I found myself. It was the same room, but the papers, the trunks, and the furniture had all disappeared. The floor on which I knelt seemed to have been recently scrubbed. For several minutes, I didn't move. I was scared, of course, but much more excited than scared. Rising to my feet, I walked over and turned the handle of the door. It was locked. For some moments, I stood stupidly twisting the knob in my hand, and then I began to rattle it and to beat the panel with my fist, and finally I shouted aloud, "Let me out! Let me out!" There was no answer. After a while, I stopped. It was no good. The house was empty. Slowly, I returned to the middle of the room. It was then that I made my great discovery. In the shadows on the far corner, crumpled against the baseboard, lay some dirty sheets of paper. Sitting down upon the floor, I smoothed them out with trembling hands. They were the inside pages of a magazine. I read its name, The Cage Bird Fancier, and the date, July 1962. Only an archaeologist can imagine the intensity of my excitement at that moment. Here was an actual tiny fragment of the future itself, palpable to my present-day fingers. It had been manufactured by men who could answer offhand many of those burning questions which still perplex the wisest mortals of 1957. Shaking with eagerness, I began to read. I suppose I was very silly. My mind shouted questions. Had the United States jumped into war again? Had there been a revolution? What's happening in Europe, in China, in the Near East? And the men of the future, as if teasing my impatience, would only answer, "It is rather difficult to give exact dimensions for stock cages, as they often have to be built to suit the individual canary breeder's accommodations." For all the information it gave me, The Cage Bird Fancier might equally well have been written in Turkish or Japanese. Yet I read on, learning all manner of highly relevant and unfruitful facts. That the legs of a canary will sometimes denote its approximate age. That narrow perches are best for birds which have slip claw. These tiresome details are imprinted upon my memory forever, but nowhere could I find a trace of any wider implication. And even as my eyes hurried along the last lines of the print, I knew in the deepest marrow of my bones that I had outstayed my welcome. I protested, but the singing noise was growing fast. Clenching the papers in my two fists like a fraying lifeline, I pitched forward into oblivion. When I recovered consciousness, I found myself in bed, in my own room, with Mabel hovering anxiously around me. It was she who had discovered me when she came upstairs to call me down to tea, lying senseless on the trunk room floor. And I asked, was there anything in my hand? "Oh, yes. You found them all right. Don't you remember?" Found them? "Oh, yes. The photographs. One of them's rather crumpled, but I'll iron it out. And now, you're not to talk anymore. The doctor will be here in a moment." Well, the doctor, when he arrived, could find nothing much the matter. He advised a thorough rest. Both he and Mabel were curious to know the exact circumstances under which my fainting fit took place, and I answered their questions as vaguely as possible. I had decided, of course, to tell them nothing. I have no wish to end my days in a mental home. And now, here I am, waiting for whatever may come next. Sometimes I feel frightened, but in general I manage to regard the whole business quite philosophically. I am well aware that the next adventure, if there ever is another, may be my last. The conditions of time travel may prove too violent for my elderly frame. Perhaps I shan't survive the journey. But I wouldn't refuse to make it on that account, even if I could. What other experience can be comparable to this? What else have I to live for now? So let the moment call for me whenever it will, at whatever time, in whatever place. I shall be ready.
And so we leave our friend to wait and to wonder. That was the story I Am Waiting by Christopher Isherwood. Now, Mr. Olmsted, for our second story.
Well, our second offering, Ben, is also by an English writer. Is A.M. Burridge. It's about a particularly eerie place which was haunted for a purpose. He calls it Browdian Farm. Most people with limited vocabulary, such as mine, would describe Browdian Farm loosely and comprehensively as picturesque. The house was quite a surprise to us. It showed few signs of damp, considering the length of time it had been untenanted, and it needed little in the way of repairs. I inquired about the rent. It was astonishingly low. My friend, Rudge Jefferson, had to live somewhere while he finished a book, and I could look forward to some months of idleness before returning to the United States. We decided to take it. We'd been at the farm about a month before Rudge Jefferson began to show symptoms of nerves. I thought he was working too hard. It was about that time that I, walking homeward one morning, just about lunchtime, I met the local policeman just outside the village inn. Oh, he was friendly enough, so I invited him in for some ale. And he asked me how we were getting on up at the farm. Well, admirably, I told him. And then he looked at me closely as if to see if I were sincere or rather to search my eyes for the passing of some afterthought. And then he said, "Well, sir, if anything happens up at the farm, you needn't go talking about it. We done our best now. What's past is past and can't be altered. There ain't no sense in setting people against us." He didn't look at me while he spoke. 2 evenings later, which is to say the evening of May the 21st, I returned home at 9:30 full of suppressed excitement. I had a story to tell Rudge, and I was yet not sure if I should be wise in telling it. His nerves had grown worse during the past 2 days. Rather to my surprise, he wasn't in his room working. 2 minutes later, while I was reading what he'd left in his typewriter, I heard the gate click and footfalls on the path. Naturally, I guessed that Rudge, temperamental as he was, had suddenly tired of his work and gone out for a walk. I heard the footsteps come to within a few yards of the house. When they left the path, fell softer on grass and weeds, and approached the window. The curtain obscured my view, but on the glass I heard the tap of fingertips, and I called out, "Righto!" and went around to the front door to let him in. Having opened the front door, I leaned out and saw him, Rudge, I imagined, peering in the study window. He was no more than a dark bent shadow in the dusk with a soft felt hat such as he generally wore. "Righto!" I said again, and I hurried to the kitchen to put our supper on the table. I remember that as I walked through to the sink, one of the beams over my head creaked noisily. Well, he produced a book at supper and sat scowling at it over his left arm while we ate. This was permitted by our rules, but I had something to tell him, and after a while I said, "Rudge, I've made a discovery this evening. I know how we got this place so cheap." He sat up with a start, and he said, "Well, how?" "Well, this is Stanley Stride's old house. Do you remember him?" Well, he was pale already, but I saw him turn paler still, and he said, "Yes, I remember the name vaguely. Wasn't he a murderer?" "He was. I didn't remember the case very well, but my memory's been refreshed today. Everybody here thought we knew. It was rather a grisly business, and the odd thing is that local opinion is all in favor of Stride's innocence, although he was hanged." "Yes, so I remember the name, but I forget the case. Now tell me." "Well, Stanley Stride was an artist who rented this place. He got himself entangled with the daughter of a neighboring farmer and found himself compelled to marry her. At the same time, he fell in love with another girl, so he lured the old one here and murdered her. He buried the body and afterwards tried to make out she'd committed suicide. So, of course, the house is haunted." "So I don't know about haunted, but it's been a devilish house to sit in for the past few evenings. I mean at twilight when I've been waiting for you. My nerves have been pretty raw lately. Tonight I couldn't stand it, so I went out for a stroll." "Oh, yes. By the way, what made you go out the second time?" "I didn't. But, my dear chap, you did. Because the first time you came in, you wore a hat, and 2 minutes later I saw you walking up the garden path without one." "Oh, no, that's when I did come back. I haven't worn a hat all this evening. And that reminds me, when you come in of an evening, you needn't sneak up to the window and tap on it with your fingers. It doesn't frighten me, but it's disconcerting. You can always walk into the room and let me know that you've come back. But My dear chap, I've done no such thing. Why, you old liar. You've been doing it every evening for the past week, until tonight, when I didn't give you the chance. I swear I haven't, Rudge. But if you thought that, it explains why you did the same thing to me tonight. But I didn't even come near the window. Well, then who was the man I saw peering in? I saw him from the door. Yeah, it seems we've got our ghost, after all. At that moment, we heard a scuffling sound from the kitchen, followed by the creaking of timber, much louder than before. Rudge moved in his chair, and he said, Now, don't laugh at me. I know this is all right, but I've got a hideous feeling that things hidden and unseen around us are moving steadily to a crisis. Well, you cheerful brute. Yes, I know. It's only my nerves, of course. I don't want to infect you with him. But the noises we hear and the fellow who comes and taps at the window now, they want some explaining away now, don't they? Yeah. Especially now that we know somebody was murdered here. I'm beginning to wish we didn't know about that. That night, I read in the parlor and fell asleep over my book. And just as the lamp was burning out the last of its fuel, I awoke. And as I watched the last flutterings of the lamp, I became suddenly aware of the cause of my waking. I had heard the latch snap on the garden gate, and in that moment I began to hear them, the footfalls. I heard the rhythmic crunch of gravel, and then the swish of long grass, and then the shadow knotted on the blind. It loomed up large and suddenly became stationary. A loose pane rattled under the impact of fingers. I saw only the head and shoulders of a man who wore a dented felt hat. His head lolled over onto his left shoulder, just as I'd always imagined a man's head would loll if he had been hanged. And I knew in my blood that he was a ghost and that he wanted me for something. I felt my hair bristle, and suddenly I was streaming with sweat. I don't remember turning and running, but I have a vague recollection of bouncing off the doorpost and stumbling in the hall. And when I reached my bed, I don't know if I fainted or fell asleep. No, I didn't tell Rudge the next day. His nerves were in a bad enough state already, but I did question Mrs. James, our charwoman, when she arrived, and I saw a look half stubborn and half guilty across her face. Yes, of course, she remembered the murder happening, but she didn't remember much about it. Mr. Stride was quite a nice gentleman, although rather a one for the ladies. And Stride's defense was that the poor girl had committed suicide, and that he'd lost his head and buried the body when he found it. Lots of people thought that was true, but they hanged Mr. Stride for it all the same, and that was all I could get out of Mrs. James. Well, that morning, when I called at the inn for my usual glass of beer, I asked the landlord if he would tell me the date of the murder, and he said, "Well, yes, sir. It was May the... Why, it was 8 years ago tonight." Well, that evening, I went out again and came in at the usual hour, and Rudge came down the path to meet me. He was white and sick-looking, and he said, "He's been here again half an hour ago." "You saw him this time?" "Yes, I did as you did and went around to the door. He is a ghost, you know." "Well, what happened?" "Oh, I went around to the door when I heard him tapping at the window, and there he was, as you saw him yesterday evening, trying to look in through and into the room. He must have heard me, for he turned and stared, and his head was all drooping on one side like a poppy in a broken stem, and he came toward me, and I couldn't stand that, so I turned and I ran into the house and locked the door." Well, after a pause, I said, "Rudge, this is the anniversary of the murder. Yeah, I should think something worse would happen tonight. Shall we see it through, or shall we beat it?" And almost in a whisper, Rudge said, "Poor devil. He wants to tell us something, you know." "Yes, or show us something." So we agreed to stay. We were left in peace until just after 11 o'clock, when once more we heard the garden gate being opened at footfalls. We could see nothing, for our lamp was lit, but I knew what it looked like. The thing that stood outside and now tapped softly on the glass. And in spite of having Rudge for company, I lost my head and I screamed at it, "Get back! Whatever you are, get back to help! And it was Rudge who kept his head. He called out, No, come in. Come in if we can help you. The front door was locked, but it was no barrier to our visitor. We heard slow footfalls shuffling through the hall. I died 1,000 deaths as they approached the door of our room, but they passed and died away up the passage. And then I heard a whisper from Rudge. He's gone through into the kitchen. I think he wants us to follow. Oh, well, I shouldn't have gone if Rudge hadn't half dragged me by the hand. The kitchen door was closed. Rudge held his breath for a moment, lifted the latch, and took a quick step across the threshold. And in that same instant, he froze my chilled blood with a scream such as I had heard in wartime from a wounded horse. He had almost fainted when he returned and fell into my arms. I half dragged, half carried him into the dining room and gave him a brandy, and Suddenly, I became aware that a great peace had settled upon the house. I can only compare it to the freshness and sweetness of the earth after a storm has passed. Rudge felt it too, for presently he began to talk. He said, he wasn't in the kitchen. Not in the kitchen? Well, then what? Who? It was she. Only she. She was kicking and struggling from the middle beam, you know. And there was an overturned chair at her feet. She was worse than he, far worse. Poor devil. So he didn't kill her, you see. Next morning, we had it out with Mrs. James, and we didn't permit her memory to be hazy or defective. She must have known that we had seen something, and presently she spoke openly. She said,
Well, he said he'd found her hanging in the kitchen, the poor gentleman, and that he'd buried her because he was afraid people would say that he'd done it. But the jury wouldn't believe him, and the doctors all said that it wasn't true, that the marks on her neck was where he'd strangled her with the rope. No, I don't believe it to this day that he did it. I don't.
And that was all we heard, and all we wished to hear. Afterwards, Rudge said to me, You know, for his sake, the truth, as we know it, ought to be told to everybody. If people knew as we know, it might let him rest. I'm sure that's what he wanted, just that people should know. Yes, you write it. I can't. And so, I have.
You can turn up the lights now. You can look around you. Nobody is there, really. Everything is all right, isn't it?
You have been listening to Mystery Monday, as heard on the Radio Theater channel at www.oldtimeradiolisten.com.